So we need to do something with it. And because it is mostly chocolate and it's made of cocoa butter, it's going to stiffen once we get the cocoa butter to start to crystallize. So that needs agitation. So I'm going to go ahead and pour some of this out.
Okay.
I'm not going to do all of it right now because I want to be able to control it a little bit better. So I'll set that on the side and we're just going to agitate this. Agitation means to work it really, and by doing that what we do is we basically spread it out. This is working it basically on the cold surface. It's a cool surface, it's marble, so it'll just start to soak up the heat, what residual heat is left. That's going to give the chocolate or the cocoa butter in here a chance to have one of the three things it needs. It has to have temperature, so we're going to reduce that temperature down and cause crystallization to start. Once we scrape it up, it's going to agitate it. So we're giving it time, temperature, and agitation. With all three of those things, this will start to stiffen. Two things are going to start to be noticeable. One, it's going to start becoming visibly thicker. But the other part of it is that the shine is going to change. It's going to go from being very glossy to being sort of satiny. And that satiny color tells you the crystals are starting to form because they're interrupting the ability of light to reflect off the surface. Question?
It feels right. Is that about right?
It's a little thin, but just let it cool down a little bit and I think you'll find it.
I could still see there was a couple like little lumps in there. Will that count against us or anything?
If you press those, just press those lumps up against the wall of the container, and I think what you'll find is as you let it cool down, it'll start stiffening, and it'll become very workable. You may still have to go back to the microwave to loosen it up a little bit later, but for now, it's on its way. All right, a little more agitation. We don't want to overdo this. Once we start the process, a chain reaction will start to take place, and it will start to become very stiff. And we don't want it that stiff. It won't be able to be useful to us because it will be too stiff to pipe onto a cake or to spread onto a cake. So already it's looking noticeably thicker, and the shine is starting to change. It's starting to become more satiny. So you can notice a really significant difference in consistency. It's really starting to thicken up. And it'll just be a little bit before this becomes fully pipeable material. You'll be able to put it in a piping bag and it'll hold its own shape. And it'll be much easier to work with. I think I'll do this one more time and then we'll put it right in the piping bag.
I just did that.
You can see now it's not even moving. It's very viscous. Yeah, it's holding up very nicely now. So what I'll do, I've got a piping bag ready to go here. I'm going to take this right off the board and right into the piping bag.
Okay, so I've added like a teaspoon and a half of extra cornstarch on the 6 teaspoons.
It's still quite liquid.
And I'm afraid that if I add too much more, it's just
It's all going to seize up.
yeah.
I put in about that in mine, but I think you can see mine. Mine came out quite thick. So what I would do is just, I would go ahead and, with as thin as yours is, go ahead and put in, I would say another tablespoon or so. And make a little slurry out of it, and you pour it in and stir it in, bring it back up to a simmer, and it should hopefully get a little thicker. I just want to make sure it's not going to wet all over.
Right, that's the only thing I'm afraid of. I'm sitting down.
case scenario is it gets a little thick and you have to put in a little bit of water to loosen it up.
Do we use a smaller sergeant?
I use a smaller one for the ganache on the inside and the bigger one for the tip pipe or the pin. So this ganache is really ready. It's soft and pipeable, but it's not so hard that it can't be piped. It's doing pretty well. So you can see by the shaking of my hand, it's quite firm. I'm sorry? Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and put on a double here just to kind of create a little wall, a little damp. From there, I'm just going to put some whipped cream in the center. And the whipped cream in the center is really just a blob of whipped cream, just like we saw in the video. I'm going to go ahead and put in some cherry filling. Now I like everybody to be able to get a little cherry filling, no matter who cuts the cake. So I like to put a little bit everywhere. This is all on the inside, of course, so it's not going to be, you know, the star of the show because it's hidden inside. When it comes time to put the last cake layer on, we're just going to slide it on there, nice and even with the bottom one. If we need to, we'll adjust it a little bit. And this is a pretty tall filling I put in here, so I'm going to gently press this down so that it kind of flattens out the top. A little piece of cardboard acts to even out the pressure.
So you flattened it with your cardboard so it'd be more even all the way around?
Yeah, and that just kind of made sure that the filling spread evenly, kind of flatten the top. And this way it's better in your hands, you know, because your hands have fingertips and lots of extra pressure points. It makes more sense to do it that way.
I've seen
Now,
commercials on TV.
it's in the video. The woman took this and put it in the refrigerator to let it set up. I'm not going to bother with that. I'm just going to go ahead and get my ganache ready here. My other ganache is going to be ready to ice this cake in just a little bit because right now it's still quite fluid.
Did you want to go for the same consistency as before?
Very
Well, a little more.
Yeah. So about the same thickness. I want it to be able to be firm enough to stick to the side of the cake, but yet loose enough so I can actually shape it, you know, and smooth it out without having any difficulty.
Okay.
So again, we're going to work our ganache a little bit, kind of get a little bit of crystallization going. I'm really trying to be careful not to overdo it because I don't want it to seize up when we become rock hard and then I can't work with it. Even the ganache that was still left on the surface here was already quite firm from crystallization. So it acts just like chocolate. Got some leftover ganache from the last one, still on the board.
Hey, you need another cake?
No.
So will we need to do this when it comes out of the microwave or microwaving?
If you're microwaving, all you have to do, if it comes out a little loose, is just stir it. Because it's already had a chance to crystallize, and it will, as it cools down a little bit, it'll start seizing up on you. So you need to kind of, while it's still soft, get it on the cake, while you still have some control over it, and then try to smooth it out before it hardens up and cools down. This, on the other hand, I just made a little while ago, and it was still way too warm and soft. So I'm intentionally crystallizing it a bit, just trying to get some, you know, a little body into it. And it's doing pretty well. It's already thickening up pretty well. The marble's doing its work. There's a couple lumps for me, but I'm not too worried about those. they'll become smaller. And, thank you. And they'll become smaller and less noticeable. See, now it's starting to hold its own shape. It's almost ready to go on the cake.
Wait, what? What time?
See, really, what I'm looking for is like an icing consistency. Will I be able to get this to pipe, or will I get this to be able to adhere to the cake and then stay without sagging, without drooping, things like that. I think we're ready.